So, welcome everybody to today's stream. This is the first time I actually stream on YouTube, so I'm experimenting a bit if I should stream on YouTube in the future or if I should still continue streaming on Twitch. Let's see. So, in today's stream, what we want to do is hello, welcome Sri to the stream. How are you doing? How is it going? So in today's stream what I want to do is basically show how we can build a open source library from scratch. So an Angular open source library without anything in place, right? So how do we go about that? So the first thing that we do is we open up a browser window, we go to GitHub, and of course we generate a new repository. We will call this one, let's call it Release Me Daddy. I think that will be a probably a starter template that we can then also use for other projects. So once we have that in place, we can reuse it whenever you want to generate a new open source library. So let's start by basically coming into or changing into a directory, and in here what we will use the Angular CLI. So we are on Angular CLI version 17, which is the latest. I think it's not the latest one. I think there's a newer one. Let's go with install the latest one. Hi, mind turning down music? No, that's not a problem. I will do that. Quickly check. Let's turn it a bit down. I hope it's better now. Let me know if I even need to turn it further down. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, sorry for that. As I said, it's the first time on YouTube, right? So, ng version. And so we have 17.03, which is good. So we are going to say ng new to generate a new release me daddy feature, and we call it -- create application equals false. So that will only generate the workspace but not the application, right? Because we want multi-project Angular workspace. So we have that in place. So that's already committed. So if we would do git log, we could see that we have the initial commit. But of course we haven't yet connected our repository. So let's go ahead, take that and push up the changes to the repository. And now if we refresh the repo, we can see that our changes are there, right? The Release Me Daddy project is there. We don't have any projects folder at this moment. So what we will do is we are inside this repository. We will generate first a library, which we call Release Me Daddy. Yeah, that's the library name. No. Hi Abdullah Fal, how are you doing? How is it going? I'm not sure if I pronounced the name correctly, right? So now at this point we can of course open up our favorite IDE, which I will do here on the second screen that I have. And we will open our project that we just generated. That's documents I don't need, or maybe I need it, like code private, and then the Release Me Daddy project. I mean, the WebStorm is kinda slow on startup, But once you have it, I think it's pretty cool. Once you have it, it's really amazing. So now, what we are going to do, or what we did now, let's inspect the changes. Also, let's see if the font size is correct. I think it's font 2022. That's usually the font size I use for streaming. So what we see now, that in the changes, we see that we generated an Angular JSON, a package JSON, and a bunch of unversioned files. So we basically generated a projects folder, right? Which is the library. Can you briefly about how Angular ngServe works? Yeah, we will see ngServe in just a bit, because at this moment we cannot serve anything because we have only generated the library, right? But the basic way it works, it's under the hood, it starts a dev server. So in the past it was a Webpack dev server, but at the moment we basically switch to ES build. So under the hood it starts a Vite server, and that basically serves up the page. That's how ngServe works. So, as I said, we generated a library, so let's go ahead and commit that. Generate library. Yeah, generate library. I think that's a good commit message. And let's push that to our main branch. We directly push on main. It's good for our case. And now what we are going to do is ngg app, that will be the application, and we call it I usually like to call it showcase. It could also be like, I don't know, demo. I don't know if what we want to go showcase demo. I kind of like showcase a bit better, just because I'm used to that. So we go with SAS. Server-side rendering we can actually do here. So let's go with server-side rendering out of the box. And here we go, we have it. Let's commit that. Generate showcase project. Let's push to main. Also note the rocket here on the side that is going up whenever I push. That's pretty cool feature. I like that. I think that's pretty neat. Why am I ghosting? Like, see that somehow the light is not so good. I'm somehow ghosting a bit. For whatever reason. Maybe it's because of my shirt actually. Because we'll first compile code with TypeScript compiler. Yeah, it will first compile the code because at runtime you cannot run TypeScript, right? It's only JavaScript. Do you know if Angular 17 SSR supports Nest.js? I don't think so. It's currently an Express server that is included there. And how did you get that rocket? The rocket is basically, I am using, for the setup, I am using Hyper.js and then oh my posh, and in Hyper I think it's, let me see where that rocket is. I think that's, is there, I think there's a Hyper config or something. Maybe even in Hyper itself we can go to settings and that will open something. That's the .hyper.js file. Yeah, it was, I was in the correct place. And then basically here we have the Git rocket. That's a Hyper plugin that you can install there. So we have two plugins. One is the Git rocket. The Git rocket is basically when you push and then you have a space pull. That's another rocket that lands if you pull. And I'll be right back. I quickly have to change the shirts because I'm ghosting here. Like, you can see through me, right? And I think it's because of the shirt, because it's too close to the background. So I quickly change the shirt and be right back.
But it's time for me to be dropping down my defense.
Yeah, look at that. Nice. So I'm not ghosting anymore, right? Cool. So let's go ahead, and that's the cool thing now with Angular 17. You can just run npm run start and it will serve it up directly with SSR, right? So that is already SSR. If we go to localhost 4200, this is SSR. It's super bright. Whoa. But whatever. So as mentioned in the video description, we will focus mainly on how to implement, or basically the whole release process around, right? So we will quickly do a, let's say we have a library, I don't know, that just release me daddy. We just have something that is called, yeah, that's actually already the library, release me daddy works. And then in the showcase, you would basically now start consuming that library. So it's standalone, imports common module. Why? I don't like that. Why does this import common module? Service, yeah, we have specs. We don't really need the service for the starter. Let's get rid of the service. And then inside here, we would release me daddy component. And then let's go inside our app component and let's just do this. It's an H1. Something like that. And if we rerun that, we can see that. So that's basically, that's the library code, right? That's coming from the library. If I bump that a bit, and this is the showcase. So what we did is consume library in showcase. Also, one thing that comes to mind is because somebody was asking about the Git Rocket, and if you are interested in the general terminal setup that I have, feel free to go over to angularexperts.io on blogs, and there we have written this one is basically a write-up of my terminal setup. So I am using a couple of things, Hyper.js, Oh My Posh, and then an Angularic theme. That's some theme that Thomas and I, we created ourselves. So that's basically the theme that will give you here like the information on which Angular version you are, right? We can see directly we are on Angular 17 in this project, Node 20, NPM 9. And we have 83% battery, which is a super important information. But the other ones are pretty cool. I didn't have any shorthand for git commit, so what I'm using to commit is a plugin called Git Commitessence. So I think you can find it here, git-cset is Git Commitessence. That's a plugin, and basically what it does, it allows you to choose the feature type, and it commits with icons, which I kind of like. So that's why I use it. You can see which icon it uses. I like that it commits with icons. So if we now check out the release me daddy commits, we can see that here we get the guitar for features and so on. So I kinda like that. So good. So we have the release me daddy showcase, and what we of course want to do next is now we want to focus a bit more on the setup. So one thing that is like a must, I would say, is prettier. So prettier is kind of like something that you need. And then what we usually do, or what I usually do, is for such projects I always create a script that is called format check, format check lib, probably. So that would be prettier check. AI is doing a good job here. That's correct. Prettier check, project release me daddy. So we check basically everything here. So we can run format check lib, and that will list the files where he thinks like something code style issues were found, right? I always do the same for check showcase, and that would be release me daddy minus showcase, and then I do one script format check, which is basically both, and then I run format check, which checks both. The next thing, this is just a check, so I always do the same for write. Right. Where else? So that would be prettier. I think it's minus minus right, but I'm not sure. So now what we do is, if we check the status, we still have package JSON and package lock. And if we do format write, we can see that all those files now got reformatted by prettier, right? So, but still, check showcase, yeah. So let's see what it changed. In app component HTML, you can see it did some formatting stuff, right? Wherever we have it. And once you have done that, then it's kind of good. So now, actually I should have done two commits here, because one is the setup, one is the formatting. So we do it with one, but I really like this. I really like this lipstick icon, so I always want to commit with that. But actually, it would be a chore, and it would be a style commit, right? But reformat code or run prettier. Actually, it's run and setup. More like setup and run prettier. Oh. So we push that, prettier is set up, nice. Another thing that I like is whenever we have a README, so there are a bunch of assets you should always have on a open source project. All right, so one thing, if we check another one of my open source project, one thing is a code of conduct. That's basically, there are a bunch of files that you should have, like so the code of conduct basically describes like how you should treat people, like and basically how you should behave on that project. So I think that's a cool thing to have. Like, so we add a new file, code of conduct, and there are many great code of conducts out there. So I usually take like the same that I have for SVG to TS. Then a contributing MD, that's important. That's basically saying like, how do you contribute to a project? So it describes like the whole setup for people, like how can they start contributing to your project. That's the wrong. Yeah. So what we describe here is first like a welcome, and I mean basically whenever you have a contributor, you are glad that you have a contributor on that project. You link the code of conduct, and you link or you link basically here to the code of conduct, and the commit convention. So later we will set up conventional commits and fully automatic releasing. And for that we basically need, conventional commits. And therefore I think it's good to mention. So you could mention whatever you want here as well. So other stuff. Then of course a license is important. So here, this project is under the MIT license. License file is just like this. So we add those assets. Yeah, I guess that's kind of it. Npix, docs, add assets. So that's something that we have. Then in the README, we have a README, right? And the README we kind of have to treat a bit special because we have some stuff in the README. Inside here, development server, all this kind of stuff is probably not really accurate. So this is a demo project that shows how to release a library to npm. And then usually what you have is like getting started is basically something like this. So you do like, it's probably npm install. Sometimes AI is a bit in my way. So npm e, and that's basically the name of the library, right? So you would install that, and then you usually go with usage, and that's then basically TypeScript. And then what you would have is you have a component, and basically whatever, this would be more like my component, and in the template you would use, how did we use it in the inside the app component? Lib release me daddy, which maybe is not the best name. Let's just call this release me daddy. So that would be the component. And did we pass in something? No. I think that's just it. Release me that it works, good. And then we add an imports array with release me. It's not daddy, it's component, not modules, because modules are kind of gone and done. So good, we have that, like whatever, you would document the stuff here, right? But what is pretty cool here, what I kind of like to have is, I like to use a tool that is called DocTalk. And inside my package JSON, I like to do like generate table of content. And what I do here is I always do npx doctalk. The module is called doctalk. Check spelling of imports. Ooh, yeah, nice one. Future billionaire. Future billionaires. Yeah, cool. So now the cool thing is we have our README, right? We have it like this, and we can even do a preview of the README, which looks like this. So we have getting started, and now npm run generate table of content. And what this will do is you come to your project, and now you can see that you have a table of content. I don't really like the table of content to be here on top. I personally like to have the title on top, then a short description, and then the table of content. And now you can move those things here down, and then whenever you go and say getting started, or instead of getting started, we call this installation. Now, if we would check out how it looks, we still have getting started, but if we regenerate the table of content, he updates it here, right? So we have installation and usage. So I think that's something I usually like to do. Maybe do the minus here. So that's something that I really like. Then, one thing that is important with the README is basically you have your README here, top level, which is cool whenever somebody comes to your GitHub repository and checks out like SVG2TS, for example. You come and you have a top level README, right? Here you see the table of content that is generated with DocTalk. So that's nice. But the thing here is also, this is GitHub, right? But what you also want when you publish it, you basically want to have, if you go and, oh, that's again bright. If you go to SVG2TS, and if you come here, you basically also want the README to show up here. So how do we do that? Well, what we usually have is we have another README inside here. And the thing looks new to me, all this, thanks for sharing. Yeah, that's cool, because I thought this is a valuable stream for many, because I think this is not so explored, right? There are also not so many tutorials about that, so therefore I wanted to do this. And thanks for the feedback, it's cool. It's also very valuable for me if my content helps somebody, that's pretty cool. So yeah, the thing is, if you would now go ahead and build, so even in the package JSON we don't yet have a build. We have a build, but does this build the lib? This doesn't, so because we have a multi-project workspace, so ng-build doesn't work out of the box. So we would need to go build lib, ng-build, release me daddy, and build showcase, release me daddy, showcase. So we are currently interested in the build, right? Or, sorry, one thing. In ng-build, we wouldn't do ng-build, we would do npm run build lib and build showcase. So now we are building the library. So this is basically building the entry point for the release me daddy library. And the other one is the showcase, where we have a error because we use it still with lib, but we renamed the selector. So let's rebuild. Register is not a function. What? I think the build lib itself works great. Oh, we didn't. What? npm run build lib, not minus for both, just build the library. What? So now I'm a bit confused why this build doesn't work, but we will figure it out. I don't know. But that's building the library now. So some package was missing. And the thing here is now we are building the library, right? And you can see that the README ends up here. But it's not our top level README. So it's not the thing that we wrote here, right? It's not this release me daddy. So you can either So what can we do about this? There are basically 3 ways to go about this. So the first thing is you have a separate README and you kind of keep those 2 in syncs. Because that's the one that's showing up on GitHub, that's the one that's showing up on NPM. You can keep those 2 in sync, which is not the best thing, right? Because whenever you change something here, you have to think about, it's very error prone, you forget it. That's not the best approach. Second approach is, before we build, we copy that one inside here, and then it gets built automatically. Which is also not the coolest approach, because whenever you copy, you have to check it in again. So I would prefer, or what I do is preferring the third approach, that is basically calling a, or generating a Can we use NX workspace for libs and different projects? Yeah, we could use NX. We could use NX. For the thing with NX is the releasing gets much more complex than here, I guess. Especially when you then start to have like multiple projects, because I did that too. If you are interested in that. Medium, whoa, that's big. Maybe it's okay if it's big. Let's see, because I did quite some work there, and I even had a call with some guy from the NX team, because they are now building NX release and they were interested in a couple of things that I did there. Or they wanted to chat about it, because there were some things that my library does a bit more than NX release. So I have generated this one open source project that is called NX release, and their command is also called NX release now. So therefore they were also like, yeah, sorry, your repo will be kind of like name clashing. But this was basically a set of NX generators and NX executors which allow you to release an NX library. And the thing is, what I wanted to show you, I'm not sure if it's, let me think, for a single library I think it could work. But here I basically made like 2 researches how to release NPM libraries with NX. And let's say you have a project. You have an NX project and okay, this is a pretty complex topic. So I don't know how deep we want to go, because there are many use cases, right? So the first thing is basically, let's say, one thing is you have an application and you only want to, that's the simplest use case. What we are doing right now here is the simplest use case, because that's like one Angular project, which is a library, and one which is a showcase, and that's it. You have one project, no dependencies, nothing. But in an NX monorepo, yeah, I mean here you could also have that actually. Maybe we are comparing like two things that are not the same. I guess the short answer is it would work with NX as well, yeah. It would work. Please link block, sure. I'm not sure if is it behind the paywall? Maybe I do, like, just to be sure, I do the friend link, which is this one, because there are 2 blocks. I give you the friend links for both. And let me quickly, before you go ahead and read that, quickly explain 2 things. Because the thing is pretty complex. So, the thing is, let's say you have this architecture, right? You have an application and you have 2 libraries. You have a foo library and a bar library. Both are publishable and buildable. And you also have a Bash library, which is publishable and buildable. Now, Bash consumes foo and bar consumes Bash, and you want to release that. And that will get very complicated. So, because the first thing that you have, also what I wanted to do is basically all of that, automatic versioning, bumped versions, based on conventional commits, linting, testing, build, all that kind of stuff. And it took me quite some time to figure all that out. But basically the first question that you have to ask yourself, if you have multiple libraries, With one library, it's not an issue. Like what we are doing here, it's clear. You have one version, that's it. But in the setup that I showed you, you have 3 libraries. Now you want to release them. How do you go about it? Do you do like one version for each library? So let's say you do a feature in, let's say you do a feature in foo only. Would you just bump like the version of foo and keep bar and bass the same version that it is? What do you do when you bump bass? How would you do that? Because foo is actually consuming bass. Basically, those are the kind of questions. Will you go with like each one has its own version, or do you see more like, for example, is it grouped? Because Angular, for example, in Angular you would have, this would be the Angular core, Angular common, Angular router, for example. Whenever you release one, when you do a change here, you want to release everything, right? So that they are always in sync. And that's the first question that you kind of have to ask yourself if you go with such an approach. And one of the blog posts is with multi-version approach. And this one is, this is multi-version and this is single version approach. And therefore, we kind of figured out which one to choose. It's all described here, right? But that's the mental model behind it. That's how it will work, right? So let's say we do a change, so those are our libs, we do a change in foo, then we run all those things for foo only, and we want to commit back the stuff, and this is things that NX release is not capable of doing. Then, yeah, it gets complex, right? And then we call basically in the exec plugin, we do bump the versions with NX release. That's my project. And we commit back the stuff in bar and in package.json, even in the build version. So, and in the end, we all publish everything together. But that's the idea here. And it is pretty crazy if you have to do this yourself, but you can check out the video where I basically show how to do all of that in like 10 minutes, because I kind of wrote those libraries to encapsulate all the complexity away. So what you can do now is also use, you can generate the libraries, but then you can use NX release. So you install NX release and then you do generate NX release config. And then you get through a wizard which asks you a bunch of questions, and you can say which ones you want to release. And then it will configure all the things for you, right? And then it's pretty simple. It's a pretty easy setup. But yeah, what we are trying to do today is a much simpler version of this, because that's yeah, very complex, and I think is only the case for like bigger enterprises. I would say so. But yeah, generally your question, NX would work. Like, I just don't like, I know that this is an unpopular opinion, but I don't like NX too much for all, like, I love NX, I'm a huge fan of NX, but I would only choose it for the right use case. So for cases that are simple enough, like releasing one library, I would not add the extra complexity of NX. I know the NX team is kind of like, always use the CLI and so on, but for me it's still extra complexity over the Angular CLI. But I think that's an unpopular opinion, probably. Many would probably disagree. So where were we? Pre-built lib. And here we basically have to say no, it's actually more like a post build. We copy the README. Yeah, the license we can, AI. So we copy the README, we copy the license. No, that's too much. The license, do we need the license? I think we need the license actually. And these things we don't need. So just like this. So let's go ahead. Now let's see if the README ends up here. So this is the correct README, right? If you're using NGRX store, is it good practice to create a separate lib for that? So you are speaking about a NX setup, I guess. Because in the NX setup, I would basically go like generate apps as kind of shells, and then the libraries are the features, and per feature I would do like these stores, right? Because you get these slices, I think. I haven't used NGRX since a long time, actually. So release me daddy, we have that. We copy, yeah, that's it. We copy Jor, copy assets on post build. Now, another cool thing that I like to use is basically whenever I do open source libraries, is I like to give credit to contributors, right? Because when somebody takes, it's not like, I'm looking for the English word, because I speak German actually. And Selbstverständlich. It's not naturally. Yeah, I mean, what I want to say is basically somebody has to invest his free time, or just generally his time, to contribute to your project. So I think you should give credit to those guys, right? And what I like to use is basically here, always at the end of the table of content, I like to include contributors and then basically list all the contributors, and also for the contribution that they do, which I think is cool. So, and there's a very cool tool, and that tool is called all contributors, and you can set it up by basically CLI installations. For some reason it doesn't really work for me when I do it from here. npx all contributors init, it doesn't do anything, but I think that's a fish problem. But if I do it here, what? That should actually do something, but I guess that's isn't there on Mac this other terminal? Because I think I've seen that this is terminal. Complete node -v. Do I have that here? What? -d all let's install the all contributor CLI locally. Let's see if that does something. And then here we go, all contributors init. Yeah, don't know why does it work here? Like, no, here, okay. So fish somehow doesn't see my local installed. I don't know, I still have to figure that out. So what's the name of the repository? Release me daddy. Who's the owner? We use GitHub, github.com. Where should you can also have like a dedicated contributors file, but I like to have the readme. Yes, I want the number of contributors. Yes, batch, that's cool. You can even choose how big The avatar should be 100 pixels is okay. Auto commit that. Then Angular, do you want to add a footer? Should we add a footer? Did we do that? I think so. Let's add it. So what this does, it basically initializes the project. So you now have these all contributors with the settings, right? That's the all contributors file. And now I can come and say all contributors add. So I add myself for, and they have a bunch of contributions. So I think if you go to the all contributor sites, you can say that there is basically audio, accessibility, bug, block, business, whatever. Like you can choose those guys. And we just say I add myself, then I get added to this array here, but I should also be added in the README. So if I now check out the README, we see that I am added as a contributor. Maybe one thing that comes to mind is before we copy, so we have this post build, right? What we probably should do first is always update our table of content. Generate table of content to just keep that up to date. And now we basically have set up this. The cool thing is, if you receive now, like you have an open source project and you receive a PR, what you can do here is you can go pull requests and let's see one of the closed ones, for example. Okay, that was myself, but for example, this was a contribution from Thomas. What you can then say is like, hey, all contributors, please add Thomas for code. And all contributors will then say, well, I've put a pull request, and you can see how he then adds Thomas for code, right? So with that, it's pretty cool because you can do like simple comments, and then based on that comments, you can then easily, yeah, you can keep the contributors alive, right? I think that's pretty cool. Keep the contributors alive. Keep the list of contributors alive. Right. Would you see this as a docs or a jar commit? I see it more as a docs. Nice. Yeah, I also really like this. Cool. So now what else do we need? What else comes to mind? Linting. How about some linting? We don't have lint. So I think what we need to do is Angular ESLint. Where is it? ng add. Is this the official one? Let's see if they have it on Angular dev. What? ESLint. Migrate to ESLint. Somehow, I think the one that I had was correct. Yeah, let's just use the other one, like Angular ESLint, because they have. Yeah, I think it's this one. So let's go ahead and run that command. Would you like to proceed? Yes. So what we probably need is again the same. So we have that for format. There are quite some scripts now. But we probably need a linting script and a lint for the lib. I guess we just run ESLint on. Yeah. That looks kind of good. I would say so. So we don't yet have. There's an error in the JSON. Yeah. I thought there is something that will do this, but let's init the config. Add lint fix. By default I already have the -- fix. I don't know, maybe it would make sense to have two. So why do we need it? To enforce code style? No, that's prettier. To check syntax and find problems. So import export. None of these. Where does your code run in the browser? What format? I like JSON. Yes. Which package manager? npm. So okay. No issues. Then the next thing, right? There is quite some stuff included if you think about it. If you want to do it like full or like complete, the next thing is probably Husky. We want to use some commit linting. I know there are people who don't like commit hooks. I still think they are cool for like running prettier, or I still think it's cool. So what we will use is Husky. And they changed, like from one version it dramatically changed how Husky works. So what I still don't like about npm, I'm not sure if I'm the only one, but like I don't like that here you don't have the option a -d. That would be cool. -d Husky. Is there a module called Husky? I'm just curious. And even how many downloads it get, I think that would be everybody typing. Okay, there is not. Maybe we should do one module that we provide under Husky, and then just log out some funny ASCII art with a husky or something, or that would be nice. Just to troll people. Okay, so I think we just can copy that. Also not sure. Run prepared. Git hooks installed. Nice. We need a pre-commit hook. And what we will do here, so what is going on here? Like it generates the Husky, it generates the pre-commit hook, and here we run npm test. Now what we probably want to run here is prettier, and there's a tool called Pretty Quick, and Pretty Quick allows you to run prettier only on changed files. What you previously would need to do is you were using a tool called how is it called? Lint-staged, I think. Lint-staged was basically checking or taking all the staged files and running your task only on that. But I think Pretty Quick is easier for that. So we basically install it. Mine is the Pretty Quick. We Pretty Quick install Pretty Quick. So we have Pretty Quick. And now in pre-commit, hooks pre-commit, we just do Pretty Quick -- staged. Something like that. And then what else do we want to do? I'm not sure if I want to, I don't want to be like, I want the commit to be fast, right? I don't want to lint, test and do stuff here because that's none of my concern somehow. I just want to format the files. And one thing that I want to guarantee is like the conventional commit, right? I think it's called commit lint. So that basically you follow a commit message because we need that for releasing. So let's see what that does. Echo foo. Also have some nice Christmas cookies here. So let's see. Nice. Yeah, basically what you can see that the type must be of one of those things, right? So it links your commit message. Config Angular is cool. Let's go ahead. So that's the commit linting. Actually, it's a bit of an overkill for our library to do all these kind of things, but still, it's more like if you want to do like a real open source project. Then how do we integrate? So. We installed that. We have Husky, add a hook, which we already have. The hook we have. Question is if we even need to install that. So let's see if we just bump that in here. Because I guess if you install it, commit lint, something like that. So let's try it. Let's say if we do git add everything and we go and say git commit -m . Let's go. Okay, Pretty Quick command not found. Maybe we have to do npx here. But the hook is executing, that's already good, right? Oh. Husky Pretty resolve config sync is not a function. Why? Okay. Let's see if you create. If you create I somehow like on my now basically I have to do it like this. Okay. Yeah, if you create a notes or blog post about this project will be great. Yes, definitely. Definitely, that would be a very good idea because it's probably easier to follow. Yeah, prettier resolve config is not a function, but only inside Husky. ESLint plugin prettier 4 and prettier 3. That can be maybe. Do we even have the ESLint plugin prettier? So, which version of prettier do we have? So we have prettier 3 and pretty quick 3. That should actually be okay. And do we have a Angular ESLint? We don't have a prettier plugin. Maybe we have to do like pretty quick because it's on pretty quick. Pretty quick will break with prettier. Okay, yeah, that sounds right. Prettier 2. Let's go. Now, pretty quick worked, but we can see that this was basically everything is awesome. Input, setup ESLint. Please add rules to your commitlint config. Found one problem. So we didn't commit, but we probably have to go to our. We don't even have a commitlint config. Maybe we forgot something when we initialized that. Commitlint. Is there an init? Commitlint CLI. I mean, do we have here? Is there an init? Link your commit messages, path to the config file, edit. Local setup. Yeah. Test the hook. I think we were config conventional. Do we have that? Yeah, we have config Angular. Yeah, I need to. Yes, I need to. that's for sure like that. So if I git commit like this, I mean, that basically fails, like that shouldn't work, right? That shouldn't work. But what is confusing me that we don't have any rule configured. He even says getting started guide. That's what we did. So we did install configure. You know, a person who can read is in advantage. That's how we say it in German. Like, so now we basically have the commit lint config, but we don't want to have to extend the config conventional because we are using the config Angular. So now we get a correct error. And now it's basically what Chavin, I don't know, like Chavin probably is the last name, was saying. Now we basically have to use the correct commit type. So you can see that it says chore setup ESLint. Everything is awesome. Type must be of build or whatever. What did I do? So we do chore. I did chore. Let's see if, because that should pass through. Setup commit lint type must be of 1. He doesn't know chores. Why? Is this the Angular? Okay, there I'm surprised that Angular conventional commits. Let's see, Angular full spec. Wow. Maybe Angular conventional commits doesn't know chores. Fix feed, breaking change, but why? There is chore. Are allowed. For example, config conventional based on the Angular convention recommends chore and others. So, and he says type must be 1 of build, CI, docs, feed, but he doesn't know chore somehow. For whatever reason. Commit lint config Angular.
I'm running out of time, every day goes by so fast. And every moment counts, baby, I don't wanna miss a thing. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, or hang out in hotel bars.
What was it?
Somewhere in your car, we can sleep under the stars,
Conventional.
under the stars.
Probably we need both. Commit lint config conventional. Can I type git status now? What is that S? New file S. So now we should be good. I added the file S. So chore setup Husky and commit lint. Right. We didn't install that. So you see, like, that's also why I want to provide a starter, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of things. If I have to type this message again, I'm going crazy. And Why? Type must be of 1. Why? Let me also quickly try it with a feed. Like, because common types according to commit lint based on Angular convention can be. Sure. There it is. Sure. So real world examples look like this. Ah, you know what? Let me check. Still, setup Husky and commit lint. I think he's always like 1 behind or something. Why does he even get like the robot here? Because in the pre-commit, I think. What if I just do this? Yeah, so now wasn't that the same? And now he still thinks, because he's still linting the last one. Lint last commit from history. But why not the current one? Ah, because, wait. CI setup. Can we expect more videos on Angular advanced concept and best practices? Yeah, sure. Try removing Angular from commit lint to JS. You mean from the config? Sure, let's try that. But I think we are also linting the wrong commit. Maybe we are running it in the wrong hook, I think. But there was something on. I don't want to be stuck here too long. Commit message, right? That's a different hook. That's not pre-commit hook. So that's a different hook. So you can see how we have a commit message hook, and inside here we run that, and then let's quickly add again just the Angular one. Config Angular. I don't know if we need the other one. I mean, we will try it out. So we will basically uninstall, or maybe we try it first and then we will see. Wrong and text. Okay, at least he's taking now the correct message, right? Previously we were always one behind. Now let's try the suggestion here, which is config conventional, and just remove the Angular one. And let's see. Jor, setup, commit lint, and Husky. Yeah. But what is the difference from the Angular ones? But actually I don't mind. Like, I just mind that we have the type in there. But let's see, summary, the conventional commit is a lightweight convention on top of commit it provides, blah blah blah, which makes it easier to write automated tools on top of. Yes. Are allowed, for example, recommends Jor and others. Okay, I don't know. Let's go with the config conventional. I mean, that works. I don't want to. Maybe I'll figure that out after the stream, but I don't want to be blocked here. So what we will go, and we will basically uninstall the commitlit config at commitlint config Angular. So we remove that, and then actually and pretty quick, we don't need those, right? Because we use it with MPEGs. Yeah, so it picked Angular versions, yes. Okay, cool. I'm still curious what the difference is. Why does this commit, like a short commit, not work with the Angular version? Yes, okay, so it picks the last one. Cool, I thought it kind of merges them, but that's cool. Git add everything, git status, npx, git cset. Jor, you know what the problem is? That's not so cool, but we have to say maybe we still need it. Let's leave it probably, because then they are, I guess they are cached. Then we can actually roll back everything here. Go to the enter commit lint config Angular. We can actually remove that and then go ahead and do an npm c and npm I actually. Yeah, it's weird, yeah. I also agree. Sure, what do we do? Great. Cool. So we are making great progress. Now, at this point, it's probably time to set up the GitHub actions, because we don't have any build yet. So what we will do is, yeah, we have all that. Nice. GitHub Actions, GitHub Actions. Bam, bam. So I usually go to an existing project and just copy what I already have, right? Because what we want to use here, and that's, so this will be a complex part, but it will be pretty cool because I think that's a really nice setup, right? So we will go ahead and generate. The first thing that we do is on release me daddy, we will do a new directory .github /workflows. I think it's workflows. Yes. And I usually do a CI YAML or like a branch to the YAML. We can also call, I don't know what's the best name, but the idea is that this runs on a feature branch. So what we will do here is basically on a feature branch, that is not our main branch. What we will do is we will check out, we will npm install, we will run we will run lint. Oh my god, there's more to it. I now think like a coverage report and stuff. Now the question is, do we even have tests? We didn't spoke about testing yet. So curious. Let's see. Testing is the next part. Okay. Then let's see. We can do this. Probably for test again. So again, I want to have two scripts. One for test and one for one for the showcase and one for the lib. Where do you get ideas for libraries or project? So I think sometimes I just try out new Angular stuff and I get ideas for basically based on some new stuff. For example, last time on stream, that was still on the Twitch stream, but I think I will probably now switch to YouTube more because I think that's more interesting. What we did was a library that is called Buttery Smooth, for example. And on that library, there I was just playing around with view transitions because that's a new feature in Angular 17. Like view transition itself is a new feature in the browser, and Angular 17 released it so that you can have view transitions in the router. And the idea here is basically with view transition you can do like some pretty cool things. I mean, look at this. That's also something I did on a Twitch stream. Is basically when you click here, you see this transition. Like that's view transition. So then I was playing around with that, and then I thought like, wow, I like that. I don't only want this on routing. Can I also have it somehow when I filter a list? And therefore I came up with this project called Buttery Smooth, where you have a list, and when you filter, I don't know if you can see it, but it's basically transitioning, right? It's not just filtering the list like easy, it's like nicely fading in, and even like look how the elements kind of go next, like they move nicely, right? So I thought, because this is not possible out of the box, you have to do some magic. Basically what I did, I implemented a custom ng4 which does that. And I thought maybe this could be a cool library, so why not release it? I haven't released it yet because I'm still doing the setup, but this could be a cool library, right? Or other ideas that I get, so that's something basically you get like new features, you play around with it, and then you think, how could this be useful for somebody else? And then you start providing a library. Another thing that is a great resource for features, for example, of course, if you have like interesting client projects, right? If you do some interesting things for your clients, a lot of things, or most of the work I do for clients is closed source, but there is some stuff that is open source, or that I can is closed sourced, and I want to solve a specific problem. Then I go home, think about the problem, and start to implement an open source package to solve something. But the problem has to be like not business related, right? It has to be like pure technical, because you cannot publish out business logic. So pure technical things. And what I did, for example, was SVG2TS was such a project that I started because my client needed to solve something with icons, and I came up with SVG2TS, which is a cool project. And now if you go like curious what the all-time stats are, but you see it has quite some. It even had like weekly on one day 11,000 downloads, but like a total download of 1.2 million. That's cool. And that's a project that I started like because I needed to solve some specific problems. And I think whenever you have those problems, I think it's I mean, you cannot do that for all the companies, but I have clients which are I hope they are okay with that. That because you also benefit, because I did that, right? And I did it on my free time, started it. Then during work time, I could do a bit more whenever a feature was needed here. So I could do a bit of open source also when it's needed for the client. And then another cool thing is like other companies benefit from my work. And also we had that cool thing for my client. Basically, somebody used it in another company, I don't know, somewhere else across the globe. And he was contributing some stuff, which then was also something that my client was benefiting from, right? So that was pretty cool. But the idea, so to answer the question, where do you get the ideas from, is either from playing around with stuff, thinking like, how could I share things, just playing around, or like solving a real problem, right? So that's how I get ideas for new stuff. And sometimes I just publish out like also bullshit, right? Like just for fun. Some packages that I have are just for fun. Harry Potter names. I mean, that I published 7 years ago. What is that? That's like a name that gives you, if you want some testing data, like don't import a extra library to generate testing data. Don't do that, right? 0 downloads, so also good. But it gives you like a random Harry Potter name and stuff. But it was more to play around, see what I can publish out. Prime NG stuff, whatever. Yeah, I have quite some projects out, right? Some are more useful, some are less useful. Also, a couple of things, if you publish out a library, the name is important. For example, I think this one is a library that I did, and I think it's a super cool library because Angular has this new transform feature, right? This one that I wrote about, where you can basically say on inputs, you can have a transform function. So let's say you have an input character. Let me mount that a bit. And you get a input, and here you use character name uppercase. So you would basically transform that character and just return an uppercase name. So that's this new import transform, right? But there is also two built-in functions, one from number attribute from Angular and Boolean attribute, both from Angular. And those functions automatically convert the input to Boolean or number. And that's pretty cool because you can then use like my product show details. This would not compile without the transform attribute. Yeah, so, and you can also use it like this, because this would also not work. This would be interpreted as a string. And the idea is, if you want to use that in an existing code base, of course this is like hard to do because you have to go through everything. So I wrote a transformer that will automatically check your Boolean attributes and the number attributes and transform them, right? And add this transformer to those things. But the node module is called a transform transformer, so nobody will look for that, right? Therefore, it's also not so discoverable. Sorry, I'm speaking too much, right? Would be great if you stream on YouTube. Cool, thanks for the feedback, because I was only on Twitch and it was cool for a couple of months. Now I'm thinking about transitioning to YouTube because I have the videos here. I think I also reach more people here. Probably cooler. So, where were we? Testing. Start view transition is not a function because it's experimental API. So, that's not experimental, it's just not supported by all the browser. Release me daddy. Now, we are still using karma here, right? I guess it's still karma. So 1 of 1. But probably we cannot wait for this to finish, right? Or? Wait, because we hang. I think it hangs. So that's... Yeah. Doesn't it quit? ng test. I just want a single run. How can I let that quit? I don't want watch. I mean, if I do npm run test lib, right? Like, close it. Yeah, that's what I want. I want to exit. Run completely. Oh, I didn't knew that. I didn't knew that they run in watch mode by default. And you have to, basically you have to override it to say like -- watch. I was not aware of this. Now, okay, we have one error, but I think they work. So test lib itself probably works. No. Some of you tested a full page reload. I mean, yeah, karma, where is the config? We have the projects, source. Is this now inlined? Because I never use karma, to be honest. I always use chest. Do we have to switch that to chest? There is no karma config. Ah, it's probably in Angular JSON. tsconfig. Yeah, that's this builder, right? And can we do here like options? Probably not. I mean, it kind of works, but karma watch false. It's always funny how the testing is somehow a problem. Client clear context. I mean, what I want to do, it's not crazy, right? I want to test my library. Test lib, release me daddy, minus watch false. No idea why. Otherwise we'll just migrate away from karma. But this should work like. Not sure. Angular testing, migrate to jest. Like, ooh, Angular. Ooh, duck. On the Angular team, we believe. Okay. Angular has historically taken fairly opinionated, yeah, with karma being the... yeah, they have no chest test runner, so... At the same time, we have seen in the community around chest, the unit test, yeah. Experimental support, we have seen, nice. So I guess I just switched to builder. I have never tried it because when we did like chest testing, it was not really supported. We did it with chest preset Angular. I never tried it with this builder. tsconfig polyfills. I'm not sure. What? I'm in the wrong project. No. Yeah, that can very well be. Did I now destroy something? No. So we use the chest builder. Chest is not installed, yes. Minus the jest. Probably we then also have to uninstall karma. I guess so. Chest environment, chest DOM is not installed. Well then, let's go ahead and install that. Aha. Wait, but tsconfig spec JSON. Aha. But we are running on the lib. Maybe there should be not tsconfig, but here it's built Angular. I've never used this, never tried it. Or can it be so hard? Like, ensure the file is part of the TypeScript program. App component spec is missing from the TypeScript compilation. And why are you even doing the showcase? Like, is it not build Angular? Just it's. Where is it? Why is it red here? I think you need to add JSconfig file, maybe, but yeah, probably. Angular JS builder. This is not it, this is something else. Angular builders just run. But they don't have preview chest. Yeah, builder, if you don't remove the options. Aha. We have to remove the options. But all of those options. If you don't remove the options that were in the old configuration, is it really true? It's cool how you do a stream about open source library setup, and then everything works okay, and then you come to the testing part and soon you're stuck. But don't they have like, yeah, we have the builder, but how? I mean, there I'm actually not really happy that this is such a bigger thing. That's the article we had. So he just uses chest and the options. Maybe it's also not done for multi-project workspace, I don't know. Let's quickly roll back. And otherwise we do it with the sorry for that. So test lib, ng test, release me daddy, and showcase. So this should work. So we start the browser, it works. Okay, close it. But Yeah, and then here comes with some of your tests did a full page reload. But so the question is also, how can you do that with karma? Like minus minus watch false. I'm also wondering if there's something called single run. Because that's all encapsulated by the builder. Okay. So. Oh my god, I hate testing in front end. But I'm still a bit disappointed. I do a multi-project workspace, right? This is the setup, like the out-of-the-box setup from Angular. And I don't know, like, how can I do this in the CI? Angular Karma single run in CI. Can we also Angular Karma? Maybe we can use a head. We anyway have to use headless Chrome. Probably this. Minus minus watch false. Minus minus browsers Chrome headless CI. Chrome headless. That's probably browsers. Yes, finally. Wow. Okay, so that's the config we need. And the same for the showcase. And now we can go ahead and run test lib, which runs both. Yes, that's 1 of 1. And why only 1? Because test showcase. Is there even something? Yeah, that's even failed, but why does test lib? Because we only do ng test. So I would want to see this fail. Now, yes, perfect. So we run both, right? And now let's go ahead and fix that. I mean, we can still do the title rendering. We just say release me showcase is basically that's it. It should render. So let's run the showcase test. And then nice. Now, good. So actually we should commit that, but let's go to our branch YAML. Now what do we want to do? It's the question. So the idea here is we probably want to report some coverage, right? I guess so. So test lib, test showcase, test lib, minus coverage, minus coverage. Is it minus code coverage? I just trust you, AI. I just trust you. But you've done me wrong so many times. This one I have to copy. So now if we run this, we should actually get a test. How did we call it? Lib coverage. So we should get a coverage folder. And then we want to report it somewhere, right? Yeah, we get this coverage folder here. Cool. And what is it? It's an index.html. Okay. Now, may I know your Twitch channel name? It's actually linked in my YouTube channel. I think that's the easiest. It's this one, Nivek Dev. But here, I paste it here. I mean, feel free to go follow there, but probably I will now do like more on YouTube, I would say. So yeah. So good. What we want to do is reporting the coverage, and there are two cool two pages where we can report the coverage. One is coveralls, and the other one is CodeCoff. I think I used coveralls now, not this. Done. Thanks for the follow, future billionaires. Cool. Sign in. GitHub sign in. So coveralls. Here it is. Here we go. And now we should be able to find our project, which has the name Release Me Daddy. So we turn on coveralls here. Now we have coveralls turned on, and then I think that's already it. We have to do GitHub actions, because we now have to report it. So yeah, that's the GitHub action. Use latest. We copy that. So let's go to our branch. We run the test. Test and coverage. So we run test. What do we want to actually? We want to basically, I mean, this is actually stupid. Right? Test showcase coverage is actually for nothing. Right? We can still leave it, but what we are what we are interested in is basically lib coverage, because we are releasing a library. So what does the consumer care if we are using if you have 100% coverage on our showcase and nothing on the library, right? Nobody cares. So the file, I guess we just go with that. I don't know if we need anything else. And then we just do like npm, or the name would be, name is build, and we do a npm run build. So now probably what we still need is a GitHub token. So for this action to work, we have to have a GitHub token. And now what you need to do is you go to your profile. No, actually to your, yeah. So the first thing that we need to do, where was it? Sorry, I just have to think. It's your profile, then repositories, then you go to the release me daddy repository, then you go to settings, then you go to secrets and variables, and then you go to actions. And here you can have like new repository secrets. So what I can do here is I can generate a GitHub underscore token. I think that's the standard. Also Coveralls expect it. Coveralls expects it as GitHub token. So let's do it as GitHub token. Now, of course, I cannot share this here on my screen because that's, I mean, yeah, you could have the token and do something, but I will do it on another screen here so that you don't see it. And then what you basically need to do, you need to go to GitHub on your profile, then settings, and then developer settings, personal access tokens, and then you go to classic tokens. Then you generate a new token, and then we have to use GitHub Authenticator. I hate it. Here. And then GitHub. So you enter, and then you give the token a name like GitHub token. Release me. Then you give it an expiration date, and you give it the repo rights. And I think that's everything I think it needs. So then you generate the token, you copy it out, and you give it there the value, and then you add that secret. And then basically, if you have that, what? Failed to add secret. Secret must not start with GitHub. Why? Okay. New repository secret. Okay, you cannot use somehow the prefix GitHub. So I do GH token. So basically I added this token here, right? And now let's go back. For showcase coverage, it should be code minus coverage. Let me see. So I guess you are speaking about showcase. Yes. Wow. Nice. Thanks a lot. Yes, then we basically have that, and now we still have to provide that secret. And there's a way to alias that secret, which I don't remember by heart, but I know where I did it. Yeah, so you can basically take your secret and set it as an environment variable, and we set it as GitHub token. So we take the secret that we just generated, set it as a GitHub token. And now how do we call that branch? We call it testing setup. What? This git status you don't have to do, right? That's just me being paranoid that I didn't add stuff. setup, testing. Testing setup. Here we go. So now we should get a new branch. So release me daddy. So we create a PR. Now we can see how we get the GitHub action that is already running, right? So we install node npm, we install node modules, we lint. Actually here, linting, we should probably, we lint everything. So we also linted the showcase. Not sure if that makes sense for our case, or if it would make more sense to just lint, just lint the library. Also this, maybe we call it, now I'm curious if this works. Nah, nothing to report. I guess he doesn't have the coverage file, right? Because he probably doesn't know where the coverage is. We somehow have to give him I mean, we can also kind of file default all files that could be found, local path to the coverage report file produced by your test suite. If no file was found, yes. Nothing to report. Okay. Files. All coverage files that could be found, space separated list. So that's multiple ones. But I guess, I mean, we also did coveralls for NX release even, like, so we can basically cheat and go and see how we did it there. Okay. Any other repo? That's NX plugin. Can I also filter by the ones that I have? Man, how can I? Why can't I filter the ones that are enabled? Like, because look at the amount of projects I have. So, okay. There was one, yeah, that's NX release. So then let's quickly go and just curious because NX release has test coverage. So coverage reporters is alcoff. Let's also remove the dist. Test coverage. Let's see where we generate the coverage. Boom, boom, boom. So there is coverage. Is it the reporter? Oh, that's the wrong project now. Yeah, it's his alcoff info. Probably we need an alcoff reporter. I guess so. So, I guess on our coverage, on our test lib coverage, minus AI, you there? You sleeping? Oh no, do I have to Google it? Now is the time to shine, Copilot. Alcoff only. I mean, what does that do? What do you do? What do you do? Release me daddy, where are we? We are in the coverage report. We go one up. We remove the coverage. We run the test lib coverage. Error found. Alcoff is cannot load reporter. Angular test generate Alcoff port. Is it here? Maybe reporters. Let's see. Cannot load reporter Alcoff, it's not registered. Perhaps you're missing some plugin. Yeah, but do I have to install that? Karma coverage. Aha. Is it on the plugins? Or maybe coveralls. How does coveralls works? Like the action step needs to run further, has to output an Alcoff file. So basically, Angular reporter Alcoff. I don't know how Karma does it, like, because that's something that you usually set up like once and then it's good, it's done. Go into Karma config, which is no longer there. Coverage reporters, type Alcoff. Maybe this is Alcoff only, I don't know. Yeah, but I don't really have access to the Karma config because that's encapsulated now with the builder, I guess. So right in my project, I don't really have. This is karma.config. I don't really have that. I mean, coverage, Karma generates Angular builder Karma Alcoff. I mean, I would expect Coverage. Coverage reporter, yeah. For example, suppose you want to have a minimum, yeah. But there is now this karma builder. This sucks. Build Angular karma. Yeah, whatever. So that's karma, but Elkov plugin Angular karma builder. So they now encapsulated everything away, right? But this builder, isn't it? Yeah, no. Find how much code you're testing. Maybe I can generate a karma config, I'm not sure. I want to find the docs on this builder. Angular dev kit karma, because I don't know. I mean, they should document it somewhere, right? If they generate the builder. Karma. Build Angular karma. Oh my god, that testing setup is always like because it's an Angular dev kit, build Angular karma. Where can I see the options? Can I jump somehow here? No. I mean, it's at Angular dev kit, build Angular, and then plugins karma. Karma, builders, karma, schema. So we have a main, we have a TS config, we have a, here we go, karma config. So we can have our own, but still I would kind of prefer to do the same. Scripts to be included in the build. Styles, okay. We added source map, progress, watch, poll, browsers. So browsers is basically like the headless. We could actually rewrite that. Code coverage, that's true. Code coverage excludes. So I guess everything that we can do in the config. Reporters. But that's what we did. So we go to Angular JSON. We do reporters. I don't remember how the reporter was called for Elkov. That's maybe the next thing, right? And it should be under options. So the question is karma Elkov reporter. Elkov. So that's a reporter, right? Reporters, Elkov, and what we can do inside our package JSON browsers, we take Chrome headless. So we just put that in here. I mean, is it really? Browsers should be an array, right? Browsers type string. Okay. So I guess we can basically remove that. So we can make that a lot simpler. So, oh god, browsers can go away. Same here. Go away. Go away. This watch false. Watch false by default. So then I guess we can also get rid of that. That's the simpler it gets, the better. All right. So now we should still get an error, but we should still get like headless and single run. That's good. So alcoff is not registered, but I guess that somehow the schema code coverage reporters. Karma reporters directly pass to Karma runner, and how would you generally do that? Like, I don't know how you register that in Karma. Maybe we just have to install it. Unable to run coverage with Karma, cover, yeah, because maybe we need this alcoff. Because what do we have inside the package JSON slash Karma, Karma coverage, Karma Jasmine HTML reporter, and I guess there's a package. Ooh, coverage reporter, reporters, maybe. Let's try that. Maybe you're saving me here, man. Reporters. But this is JSON. Yeah. I'm not sure if I... Not sure. Because I would really want to avoid to write a Karma config. But let me check again, because the schema says on reporters, it's just an array, type array, and the items are of type string. Cannot load, it's not registered, error. Yeah, but it's coverage reporter, like... We don't have that. All of my setup. Plugins. Yeah, but how do I specify plugins? Really? Isn't this possible with this builder? Yeah, that sucks. But that has to be possible. Like, so he says, cannot load reporter. Perhaps you're missing some plugin. Perhaps. What if I try this, what you did, like this? But it should be a string here. I don't know. Maybe it's a bug. I don't know. But yeah, I would be pretty surprised if this is a bug. But if we don't do the reporters, I'm curious what we even get, because I didn't look really into the coverage file. That would be the funniest thing if we already have an alcove. No. We only have a coverage, a normal reporter, right? But how can we do that? Do I really have to now write a karma config? I probably have to. Okay, let's go with the karma config. Does it have to be JS? I guess it has to be JS. Yeah, let's do a builder, but you cannot do the stuff, right? Maybe. Is it merged now? Is this config overriding everything that I have? So how do I do watch false? Polyfills, do I need that? Plugins, I'll probably do that. I don't know if I need all of them. Reporters. Alcove, HTML as well. Let's go here and let's say karma config. Now the question is this karma config JS. I have zero clue if this will work. Like, so TS config I leave here then? Or I mean, it's still doing the tests. I have shit tons of error. Yo. Maybe that's... I hate writing configs myself. Error in config file. Yeah, I guess. I've never written a karma config from hand. Those polyfills, do I need them here? Maybe, I don't know. Base path. I guess base path. You know what? This should be like fucking testing. Like generate me, sorry for the language, generate me a karma config for an Angular project. I mean, here in SVG to TS, did I really go? No, I don't trust that. This is so annoying. This is really so annoying because I want to do the coverage, right? What do we do here? Source, lib. That's not an Angular project. And we are using chest. Also, like, what is wrong with the cover, with the error in config file? Cannot find module release me daddy karma config.js. What? So he says error in config file. So it's on the project. It's karma config.js. Browser's option must be an array. So here it's an array. Then let's do that. Found to load errors. So cannot load reporter elcoff, it is not registered. Now what? Is there like a plugin for elcoff? Is there like this Istanbul whatever? Oh my god. How I hate this. Yeah, how to add a karma plugin that has no karma config, yeah. Karma team city reporter. How is also, what's the name of that elcoff reporter? Like, karma elcoff reporter. I think it's that karma coverage plugin, right? Because that has elcoff and HTML. So actually I could probably say here like just elcoff. It's not, perhaps you're missing, oh my god. Karma coverage, require karma coverage. It's there, right? Karma coverage. Do we need this even? I don't know. So, I'm thinking if we should leave coverage out for the moment. Because we cannot get that elcoff file. And that's the problem. Karma coverage Istanbul reporter. Is it that one? have no idea. Because they say a Karma plugin which generates code coverage. And they said the reporter's progress coverage. What? So again. Because I still believe that this somehow has to be. Where is the alcove? Yeah, I don't know how to get that alcove file here out. Progress. So I am not sure. No coverage. Do you need to install Karma coverage? Like that should be already there, right? The Karma coverage should be there. That's already there. Yeah, here reporters type, but that's maybe something we could try. Because we only tried them as array, right? So, I mean, that was already a suggestion in the test. In the test. Because I'm so obsessed now with the test. In the chat. So basically this type alcohol. And I cannot do here. This doesn't work. Must be a string. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know, and I kinda am a bit upset that this is so complicated. Like, I have the builder. I want to report. Karma report is to use direct pass to the Karma runner. Something I'm doing wrong. Yeah, that's what I kind of tried, but I mean we can go back and try to do here again a Karma config file, and then we go and we say. Where are we? Angular JSON. So we say Karma config, and inside here we just say reporters. What you were suggesting, like type alcohol. Exactly the same thing. So we cannot load, but wait. So Cannot load reporter object. It's not registered. Probably what we will do is we will probably go with chest preset Angular. Priest. Maybe we go with that, because the other one, like, I don't know how to do it right. I'm so sorry, like, I have to figure that out somewhere. I'm just thinking if we should just skip the coverage for the moment, and then I will try to figure that out, because I don't, it's taking way too much time, right? So what did we do? Like, Angular JSON, we have the karma config. I think that we can roll back. So yeah, I guess now we cannot fully roll back it. What did we do here? We had like browsers, Chrome headless, we had like code coverage true is wrong, we had like watch false, and what else? So this should still work. Okay, but I quickly have to pee, so be right back.
Have this feeling, haven't felt for so long. Took a hold on me and won't let go. I've been sleeping, caught me off my guard. Cause you're in my space and now I'm so pull me towards you and I cannot fight it. My head's under
So now I'm back. Let me see. Okay. So good. I guess we continue without I want to check something. So good. I guess we continue without coverage. Like, I will try to figure it out. I will let you know, keep you posted, like, but this really sucks. So if somebody figures out how to do that, for sure, let me know. to your dot files, I can share it. I can share the repo on GitHub or like here in the chat. Or what do you mean with the dot files? You want access to this repo or not sure? Terminal setup. Yeah, the terminal setup is basically the dot files. I have some more stuff in. Aha, you are looking for. Now I get it. So you are looking for. Let me see what I have in here first before I go ahead and share that. Config. So many things are just like are just font settings. But I guess the most interesting stuff here is the plugin section. Aha, so that would be like what you have to put in the hyper config, right? But in the fish I have some config that I cannot share, unfortunately. Some work-related config with some secrets. So what do we want to do? So we still have that. We adjust. So unfortunately we cannot do the coverage. That means basically here we would basically just test npm run lint, npm rust test with the coverage, but then this one we remove the report coverage, and then we actually also don't need the GitHub token on this stage or in this job. So let's finish this like feed. So yeah, okay. I mean the whole thing is basically a lot to do, and the main struggle we had was test setup. The main struggle we had making Karma like a single run. The main struggle we had was the coverage report. So cool, great. Let's test, yeah, but the setup should be a bit better, I think. Like, I will try to figure out how it works, but generally how coveralls would work is that you can see whenever you commit something, you can see how many or how much coverage you have, right? So for example, here the NX, Angular Experts NX, or the NX plugin has like 92% coverage. You can go into details and you can then see like all the pushes, and you can see how basically what is covered. That's job ID. I think you can go into the packages. Then you can even see the changes, the coverage change, right? All these kind of things. So you can see usually. I don't know how long it's kept. Maybe it's too long, but you can see like a lot of these details, right? Yeah, but that would be the idea. But now we basically are, where are we? So we have to release me daddy. We have one pull request open, which now passes because we don't do the coverage. And we merge that. Cool. And now nothing happens. So the next thing that is interesting is basically our release job. So, and the release job, that's the cool thing now. So new file release.yaml. We basically take it again from here, workflows, release YAML. We take the raw file We take that over. We have to release YAML. We paste that in. We go, if we are on branch main, and then we basically do the same step that we do here, like actually everything till here. Name checkout. Run and build. So on build we do build both, but then we use release. And now we have to configure semantic release. So how do we do that? Semantic release is a tool that basically allows you to release based on commit message. So the way you configure that is by adding a .release.rc on the top, on the root level of your file, not a scratch file, a new file, .release.rc. Which we add here. So the package root would be dist, but it's not just dist, because for us, if we build it, right, if we go ahead and we remove the dist and we npm run build lib, what we will get is not the dist directory, but we will get dist / release me daddy. And then we are going to use a bunch of plugins. And we have to install them. So we have to install it's semantic release changelog, semantic release commit analyzer, execute, git, nodes generate, release nodes generator, and the conventional commit stuff, right? So we install those plugins. And now we have another script to provide, which is bump version. Bump version is a script that basically goes ahead and bumps the version in the package JSONs. So it's actually something like this, bump versions. And what this one does, it takes, it bumps the version of the lib and choke of actually the main and the lib. So we use a package that is called replace JSON property. Replace JSON property is a package that I wrote. Really, you cannot install because so replace JSON property is a package I wrote which allows you to replace a JSON property. And what you can do is we can say bump version. This has to be the same as here, bump version. And we will do replace JSON property, and we will replace the version property with basically the version that we set here. So I guess it's $version, but let me quickly check that. $version, but we still have to give it the file, right? Which file it has to replace it. So we have to say, please replace inside the package JSON, and please, whoa, no, can I please just type projects / this is super annoying because yes, thank you. Sometimes Copilot is so annoying. Release me daddy with one package JSON, and we bump the version here as well. So that's then later very important. Yes, that's kinda it. And we need an npm token as a secret. So I again have to quickly open up a browser where you cannot see. and I go to, if it doesn't hang, come on, I go to npmjs.com, you go to your profile access token, you generate a new token, you take a classic token, you log in, and you give the token like a published, no, it's an automation token which will be used for CI. And now again you go to, I'm doing this all on the other screen, so because tokens like I should not share, right? Your profile, release me daddy, and then we go to settings, boom, 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 secrets, actions, and then we do a new repository secret which we call npm_token. Bam, we paste it in and good. So again we have now like two secrets, an npm token and the GitHub token on our repository, which we then re-expose here. And that's actually it. I don't imagine that we get that right on first try. Probably should also have a new file, changelog.md. And I don't think we get it right. Let's see. Oh, we push on main, git fetch, because let's go and push on release setup. So we go to release me daddy. And now what we do is we have release me daddy, one branch. Where is it? So hang on a minute, it will be cool. It will be cool if this works. If this works, it's gonna be great. Because that will be really cool. So we create a PR, and then we have the CI pipeline which is going to run. And as we can see in the CI pipeline, we run install node modules, lint, and so on. Okay. Thanks for whoever shared. You will not regret following my repo. Ilir, hello. How is it going? Software CDN, hello, what's up? So we are building, like, again, that's that stream that we did quite some time. You're not in Twitch. I used to get notifications when you're up. Yeah, I'm thinking about switching to YouTube and going away from Twitch. So, yeah, let's see. So, but if you're a subscriber to the YouTube channel, you should also get notifications, I think. I think so. Why the switch? Basically because, so we merged here, and now we see how the main pipeline is running. So why the switch? Basically, yeah, I think on Twitch, somehow, like, also if you now check the stream, I don't know how many viewers are here now, like 10 I think, or 11 since quite some time. On Twitch I never got, like, I think I was reaching less people, and I like the platform somehow, but also I thought this morning about it that it actually makes more sense to have maybe like one place, to have like the videos and everything together in one place, streaming on one place. I'm not yet sure if it is the case, but it seems like it's worth it so far. Yeah, that was the idea, because otherwise I kind of feel like I have to build like two platforms. I have to build like YouTube, because I anyway do YouTube videos, and I have to build Twitch. And this feels more like I have to build, like I focus on YouTube and I kind of forget about Twitch, but... So, I'm not yet sure, I'm still thinking about it, but... There are pros and cons to both, right? Sure, no problem. So now, again, the release fails, right? I told you we will not get it right on the first try. Reading name. Semantic release, reading name. Yeah, we need branches. We need a branches config here. I think that's something that they changed in a version. I think we need to say branches main. But maybe before we do that, you see, that's the, have you seen the rocket on pool? That's the space, how is the plugin called? The space pool, that's the space pool plugin. Yeah, I'm still a bit annoyed by that karma coverage thing where we lost so much time. Why am I not on main? Now. Now we push. Because that's like kind of the last. Did I just revert my changes? What did I do? I somehow did something wrong. Branches. I somehow reverted my changes. So yeah, it's a bit sad that we didn't get the coverage working, because it would be so cool, like then we would have the complete setup, right? It's annoying, it is annoying. But now we get a new pipeline run scheduled. Let me also bump here a bit. Maybe 150 is enough. Yeah, test and coverage, like... I mean, we generate coverage, but just that alcov info, I don't know how it's meant to be used with the new builder. I really have to figure that out. But again, I never use karma, but I still think if you ship the builder out of the box, it should be... And you let people configure the reporters with a string, that should somehow work. I guess that's a bug, I guess so. So, yeah, we are building. Let's see if the release works. I don't know if it's yet clear where we are going here with this, but I think you will be pretty amazed once we see the final result, because I really like this setup. I did it already a couple of times. So we are... No. So we release me daddy, the command git push, dry run. Yes, so that's a cool error that we see here, like a cool error that you see behind me. Let me scroll up a bit, because that is basically something where you will probably, if you do this setup, like lose so much time. So it says basically permission denied to GitHub Actions bot. So the thing here is that by default GitHub Action cannot push or cannot do stuff unless you go to settings and then you go to where is it? You go to developer settings. No, that's the access token. I think there is somewhere repositories. You see, I also don't know where it is. But it's somewhere here is a setting. I thought it's under actions. Did they change that? Where is it? Because I think GitHub Actions. Blah blah blah. No, that's not it. Where is it? Like. Ah, that's the profile. I'm in the okay, we are getting there. So we go to the, I mean there's a lot of stuff coming together. Repositories, so you go to your repository and then you go to settings and then there is actions and then you go to general and then you need to go down here and you need to give your workflow permissions, read and write permissions. And then what we can do is we can basically go to our job and just rerun it. And then it should hopefully work. I'm not sure, like usually when I do this setup, I need like 4 or 5 tries. But that's also why I want to do this release me daddy, maybe even customizable. Would be nice if you have like, if you can fork it and then maybe run a script and it customizes all the settings for you so that you can just like take it, fork it, customize it and then focus on library setup and then you have like the full setup there, right? That would maybe be cool. That could be fun. Oh, also I have to watch the time because today, I soon have to go. Today I have like a, how is it called? A meeting from a company meeting with the company I own with a bunch of others. So let's see. So, build. Now, release. Okay, let's see what it does. Whoa, we are getting further. And we are still failing. So we are one step further where we basically analyze the stuff, and then we even have this, and he knows, okay, well, we analyzed the commits, and the latest one, like there was no text, so this has to be version 1. And then, oh my god. You know why it fails? Let's see if it already did something. It's the commit hook. It's the hook. So it failed completely, that's good. But it's the hook. So can we somehow semantic release git? Can we somehow say please no verify? Because it tries to commit. Is this semantic release git? What kind of options do we have there? Would be nice if we can. Really? Yeah, but git authentication. I mean, we already do. Oh, we include the release note. We just say like message release, next release version, skip CI, but probably shouldn't include the release notes. What kind of company do you own? I own a, like own is maybe the wrong word, like together with a bunch of colleagues we have a nice company. Wait, I will quickly commit, I will explain maybe. Do not commit release notes. So basically, with a bunch of colleagues, we have a company where we do like freelancing together. So our idea is that we act as individuals, but still as a company. So we act as a company, but we are still individuals, and you can take a project, you cannot take a project. We share the accountant, we share all those kind of things, like the legal things. We are in one company, but still you can do whatever you want. Like you are self-employed, you can do whatever you want, but we have the company together, and it's a pretty nice concept, right? So it's not that we are doing we also did some small products together, but the general idea is just that it's like a framework for freelancing for us, more or less, I would say. Maybe that's the best way to put it. Together independent is our idea. Yes, together independent. Nice, yeah, it's a pretty cool concept. Now, this looks better. I think this looks pretty nice, nice. Post checkout, so we are through. Cool. So, what happened? Like, probably that's not fully clear, because let's see. So we released a version to npm that has version 1. We released the readme, the correct one, as we have seen. We have the contributors list, as we have set up everything. Now, what is the rest that happens? And that's the cool thing. Let's check out our repository. We can see that we now have a tag. The tag is version 1. In the tag, we have proper release notes. We have the source code. We have all that kind of stuff there, right? And then what we also have is we have the package JSON. The top level package JSON has the correct version, version 1. The package JSON inside our projects folder, that one should have version 1 as well. So that's a bug. That should also have version 1. That's something we have to fix. But what else? So we have the release tag. We have a changelog update where everything gets written to the changelog. And of course we did the automated release to npm. So this is like a fully released setup. And whenever now a new contributor comes, we can just accept the PR. We know it's following the conventional commits because we set that up with Husky and the commit lint. We can merge it and then it will automatically go and release new versions of our package. I mean, that's super convenient. That's so cool. Maybe the background music should be removed. Yeah, I'm thinking about that. I don't know, because some people say like that they like the background music, some don't. So far I haven't really figured out. But I could remove it easily. I mean, maybe I do once a poll or something, like if people like background music or not. But yeah, that's basically the setup. Now we could take this further and of course fix that one bug here by adding the version here as well. Then there are a couple of things, like committing version, maybe not here, like maybe here, committing the version. Then we have a new issue that would be what was it, that karma, or basically generate lcov info, right? That's something that, and the last one, and then we have it like fully complete, and that's maybe the bigger one, is deploy showcase. Yeah, code coverage, yes. So those are the three that are basically missing, but besides that, and then would be like the idea here as well, like that could be something, a customization script where we make it reusable. So let's see. That will probably be something that I do like on one of the future streams. Yeah, I'm also thinking, I'm not yet sure. What I am thinking about, I kind of would like that somehow, to have a stream where we basically build, I don't know, probably a to-do list. So my idea was building the same application in React and in Angular at the same time, like next to each other. So we will do something in React and something in Angular. And I have never written React, so I would just be curious how it goes, how it feels like. I mean, for sure Angular will feel easier for me because that's where I'm good at, but still I would still want to try out how it feels like React, like what are the better parts, the worst part, and also kind of try to maintain an objective view not to be too subjective, because I think React has also some cool things. But that was something that I was thinking of. I don't know if I will struggle brutal with the React part, but I mean, like, you do components, you write that weird JSX, which I don't like at all, but probably many people like it. But yeah, I mean, that could be cool, maybe that will be a fun stream, let's see. Anyway, I probably have to leave at this point. So how do we do on YouTube? You don't rate anybody, right? It's just like, I think it's just over, right? I don't think there's a rate function. So then, yeah. So thanks everybody for joining the stream. Again, this was the first YouTube stream, and I think, from what I've seen, like, thanks for the stream, this was great. Yeah, thanks for joining, and thanks for participating in the stream. That's also one of the reasons why I wanted to switch to YouTube, because I think now this stream was pretty cool for me also, because you folks participated in the stream, helped me, and I think that's much more motivating than, because on Twitch I didn't have that experience. Like, depends. On Twitch I had a couple of folks that were always there, like Ilir was always there, Tayamba was always there. That was cool. But yeah, so it's also cooler if people participate, right? See you on webinar. Oh yeah, that's Wednesday if you haven't signed up yet. Good point. JetBrains, on Wednesday I will be a guest speaker on the JetBrains webinar. Like, make sure this one, make sure to register, where we will talk about Angular signals. Yeah, I still have to prepare that probably tomorrow a bit, right? But I already have it like more or less ready, but there are still some things that I need to do. Okay, so then, thanks everybody. Have a great evening, have a great start to the weekend, and hope to see you soon. Bye bye.